You remember, of course, The Wizard of Oz. In the phenomenal scene when Toto pulls back the curtain and the wizard's cranking all the cranks and doing all the stuff, and he's moaning and groaning or yelping and barking or whatever, and everybody can finally see who he really is. He's not really all that. He's just a guy. And he's trying to do whatever he can do to maintain his position. Well, we have a great doctor who's done a great job educating people, Dr. Oz. He's on TV and he does some really great stuff. I think he's pretty entertaining, and I think he's brought a lot of great information to light. And in the past, he's been very positive about natural health and natural healing methods and how your body can work on fixing itself and all things that are congruent with the way I think and typically the way I practice. But in the last week or two, he got sideways somehow in his thinking, and he said that organic foods were the domain of elitists and snobby people, the 1%, that organic foods were no better to any significant extent than regular old commercially processed, genetically modified foods and non-organic food, that grass-fed beef, it's pretty much the same as feedlot beef. What planet did he drop off of? That is insanity. All of the data show, for instance, I'll give you the grass-fed beef story. If you take a piece of grass-fed beef and you compare it in a laboratory to a piece of feedlot beef, what you find is that the omega-3 fats, like what you find in fish oil, dramatically higher in grass-fed beef. Dramatically higher. And when you cook it, you see the fat that you get off of a grass-fed beef is real thin and light, but the fat from a lot-fed piece of beef is thick and greasier. I mean, you can even see it yourself. You don't have to do a whole lot of laboratory research, but the lab research proves it. Omega-3 fats are higher in the grass-fed beef. In addition, the grass-fed beef will have a much higher level of beta-sitosterol, which is it's a treatment that we use often for prostate problems and other things that cause the body to work better. The feedlot beef has GMO-fed, that means genetically modified organism fed beef. They feed them corn that's genetically modified, and it's polluted many times with a very bad bacteria called BT, or Bacillus thuringiensis. That just proves that I'm really a doctor, all those big words. But what I'm saying is that the data is abundant. It is so obvious that organic foods are better. Grass-fed beef is better. He said that in organic vegetables, you're just as good with a frozen brick out of spinach out of the freezer case as you are with fresh, locally grown spinach. On the face of it, that's just so silly. So the question I have for you is, when you get information, do you constantly critically review it and make sure that it's good? Because if you don't, you could get a Dr. Oz moment. I think he's going to recant. I think he's going to take a deep breath and say, I don't know what I was thinking, I had a bad week. I would hope he does, because he's done a great job educating. But you're responsible for your education. You're responsible to review the information constantly to make sure it's right. He's wrong about organics and grass-fed. And I'm going to tell you more about it in just a little bit.